Okay, so Vishnu sir and Sandeep sir, it is absolutely wonderful to have you on Filme Shilmy today, and I'd like to firstly congratulate you both on Shershaah.
Thank you so much, Anuj. Anuj sir, and you can call me Vishnu Anuj.
Okay, cool. So Vishnu, I think beginning with you, I mean, Shershaah is your first Hindi film it's your first Hindi film directorial. So a lot of your work, I think, as a director in South India has kind of revolved around the crime thriller genre.
That's
Um, Even the ones that you even acted in as well. I know you've had extensive experience of working with Santosh Sivan sir and Mani Ratnam sir as well. So how emotionally and mentally prepared were you in exploring the war genre in Shershaah?
See what happens, Anuj. Every film that you've done on the crime and everything, because there also have done a lot of research because there's an area of, see, it's purely about action drama. Drama action is one thing which you really love a lot. And there are in your life, there's this one opportunity and one film that you get which you really want to do, which sometimes you're aware of it and sometimes you're unaware of it. It comes to you. And see, my dad had served in the Indian Navy before.
Oh
He
wow.
was in the Indian Navy. But for that matter, I've never even thought about making a film on the Indian Navy or any services. Now, when you get to know about a hero like Captain Vikram Batra, okay, and when you get an opportunity to explore the Indian Army, when you get an thing for you to learn about them, talk about their world and explore their hero, explore this the hero that they have delivered, the capture and the kind of things that they've accomplished, that
Mhm.
pushes your adrenaline. It gives you that kind of an excitement when you get to know, when you read about it and know about it. Now, that gives you an unbelievable kick, or it gives an unbelievable excitement. That
Yeah.
excitement is what drove us all these years until the film. Now that is a kind of an excitement which made me actually jump into the project and take it up, to take it up,
Uh-huh.
to tell a story like this. Either it's going to be a way of showing a gratitude, or either it's a way of telling a story for the newer generation of see what the heroes that I've done back in 1999, and
Mm.
it's like a refreshing your memory for myself also. There is so many aspects to it, that this film has offered so much to me. Like, yeah, it's once in a lifetime experience, I would call it, and I'm really happy to be part of it.
Very well said. And I think, Sandeep, starting coming to you as well. I guess when writing a biographical account of a soldier, or I guess anyone's life, it must have a lot of ground research that needs to be done, where you have to really find out the emotions and the raw emotions of the soldier as well as the family. And I also presume that there must be a lot of moral responsibility on the writer as well. So was that exactly the case for you in Shershaah too?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. Because when you are writing a story on someone who's a living legend, who's lived a life, the world knows about it. The responsibility is immense. You have to
Yeah.
be true. You can't take liberties. I mean, of course, there's a certain amount of cinematic liberty is allowed, and you do take it. But you have to be very true to the milestone in that person's life. You can't sort of create your own milestones and project it as this is his life. You can't do that, and we consciously avoided that. And the responsibility does not limit itself only to that person's right portrayal, but also the other people in his life, whether it's his parents, whether it's brother, whether it's the love of his life, friends, everybody, his interactions. They have to come. You have to bring them all alive, on screen, on paper, in such a way that they don't turn around and tell you that, oh, what are you doing? This is not this is not how it happened. So you need to know that comes from ground research. You need to know what actually transpired in terms of his relationships. What were the dynamics were like, between, say, there's a friend, and between him, what kind of dynamics they shared
Yeah.
to what, so all those things, and if it's about, his love story, you have to be, it's a very sensitive, territory that you sort of, treading.
Mm.
So you have to be careful, not going wrong, because it just takes a little bit of deviation, and everything goes off the you take
The hook.
completely
Yeah.
another tangent. So we were
Mm.
very careful about maintaining that balance right from the word go. And as we started interacting all the other characters, see, unfortunately here what happened is that Vikram is not around, so there was no, otherwise other biopics, you meet the person and hear the first hand account from that person. Here we were unfortunate, we could obviously that was not possible. So the only way we could know Vikram and know more of Vikram is through people who knew him.
Yeah. First time
Strangely, what was happening here is that, if there is one event that I came upon, that this has happened, this is what happened in Vikram's life, and I spoke to, say, a person about that event, he gave me one sort of take on it. When I spoke to another person about the same account, that same event that happened, his take was something else. So it was also quite chaotic for me to sort of suss out exactly what happened. At one point of time, Vishnu and I, we realized that, okay, let's gather everything, everybody's perspective. If we are talking about something that happened, during his service in Kashmir, let's hear from everybody who were with him. And then we will make sure that something that emerges will be out of everybody's accounts, everybody's on that event. So that's how things have formed. That's how things have shaped up in terms of the narrative of this film.
Right, and I'm going to use that topic of balance actually and pose it to Vishnu actually, because you seem to have recognized the pulse of commercial cinema through your directorial successes in South Indian films as well, especially in Tamil cinema, I think, just to be specific.
Yeah.
When making a war film like Shershaah, which is obviously backed by a leading production house who have actually touched on the Kargil War before as well in the Gunjan Saxena film, so how do you strike that perfect balance between its mainstream appeal as well as being true to the valiant spirit of the main character, which is of course Captain Vikram Batra? So how do you maintain that balance?
Yeah, I think pretty much, Anuj, we had to keep one thing in mind, which is very clear. That is, we are going to tell a story about Captain Vikram Batra. It is purely about that. And as he said, because when you go through the research and you put everything together, because for Captain Vikram Batra's story, if you look at, and sometimes it's so fascinating, it makes you feel like, did something really happen? Because truth is stranger than fiction. How did it happen like this? It makes you question so many times. And that is so cinematic, the kind of battles that he has fought, and including if you take Dimple Chima and Vikram Batra's love story itself, it is so beautiful. And sometimes you feel, do people really live like this? The girl still is single, just thinking of Captain Vikram Batra. I mean, how strange is that in today's world? And that is so fascinating. Sometimes you'd think, yaar, tum log kahani bata rahe ho, you guys are telling us a story, but that's the truth. So all we had to do is more than striking a balance, we had to be true to the story that is going to be told, So in terms of the drama that you're going to show, how dramatic are you going to make it? Are you going to go over dramatic about it, or are you going to go too jingoistic about it, or are you going to go super heroic about it, or anything? No. Because what happens in his real life is so emotional. It is touching you on a very basic level. And what he accomplished during the war, it is phenomenally heroic, actually. All you got to do is translate it onto the screen with the best of being honest, to how honestly you can actually depict it. So if you see the treatment of the film, whether it comes to the action or the drama, we have tried to maintain it as close to as real as we have heard. And the cinematic liberties were taken only to narrate the story in terms of the timelines and everything, and put it together, consolidate into the 2 hours, because his life is big, you can do a series out of it, and even the action sequences also, we made sure that, because this is one of the toughest mountain warfare shot at that point of time, they were fighting on a slope, it's not a war that was fought on a flat surface, now that itself is a visual. All you got to do is, it's right in front of you, you have to make sure that you are true to it. How can you find a terrain like that? How can you put all the information together and make the action sequences real? Nobody flies in the film, and nobody's doing anything. So how did they fight? So there is a drama in the action. The action is not dramatic.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is how close we try to be honest with the film. We have tried our level best to be as close as reality. That's the only way we could actually do it with complete honesty. How much balance it strikes, or how dramatic it is, or how it is going to be, is how the people are going to react to the film.
I think it's wonderful to see, Sidharth play this. I've loved Sidharth since day one. So for me to see him sort of play such a role, I think it's wonderful. I'm really glad that you've casted him for the role as well. And Kiara is amazing too. So I'm really glad to see that. But I think on a final note, before I let you both go, it's on a bit of an important subject as well, and a bit of a serious note, but I think it's important to address, because I think it's great that we're getting to see such important and courageous stories through mainstream cinema. However, there are still some pessimists who are very skeptical of seeing stories which celebrate their country and celebrate the soldiers and the army men as well. So, in what way do you think Shershaah is a very befitting response to the skeptics, and how important is it for the world to know such stories, and especially responding to those people in particular? Sandeep, would you like to go first?
So it's not that you have audiences in your head when you're writing something, or when you're filming something, when you're directing something, making a movie. It's not that I know that this set of people will react like this. How do I sort of subdue their reactions? There's no such thing. It's just that you have to be true to what kind of story you want to tell, and people will react in any way. It doesn't matter, but you can't be dictated by them or their reactions right from the beginning, because then you start compromising with your creative process. And I think that's the worst thing that can happen to any script or any film or any creative endeavor, because you are working very hard. You are trying to sort of piece together a story about somebody who's already a legend. People know about it. You can't be worried about certain people getting up and saying something. People, if they want attention, they'll say something. It doesn't matter. But I don't think and like you do what you believe in, and right from the word go, we believed in this. We wanted to tell this story, and we've done it, with the best of our abilities, and we've tried to sort of be true to what exactly happened, not taken that over dramatic dimension at all, but approach has been realistic in making these heroes come across as as common people who have gone and done it for us. Because if other than if you take away their deeds, what they have achieved, they are people like you and me with the heartbeats there, and they have feelings, they have dreams. But when it comes to sort of going there and doing something for the country, they keep everything aside and they're there. It's that act which has made them what they have become. So I think we just wanted to be true to the spirit with which they fought, and we don't care. I mean, this is the story that we wanted to tell.
Yeah, to add on to that, Anuj, whether you like it or you don't like it, these people have fought for you.
Yeah,
absolutely. For the very own people who don't look at them, who don't talk to them, for them it doesn't make a difference. Yeah. For them it's a country, and you are part of the country. Whether you like me or you don't like me, it's my duty. I need to be there. So that is what they are all about. It doesn't matter. So when they are serving you like that, do you want me or do you want us also to think? See, because you cannot satisfy everybody, Anuj. No matter what, you cannot satisfy everybody. If you love that person, if you love that story, and it's also for the generation, for the new generation. Come on, guys, how many of you all know what happened during the 1999? Do you know what your country did? Do you know how strong your Indian army is? Let them know. There are so many stories like that in the world that your country, in your country especially, that needs to be told. It's like revisiting it, making you feel nice about your own land, where you come from. Look at the people that have protected you. Look at the people that have served you. There are so many things to that. It's pretty much, it's more about that. It's not about the people who don't like it, who are talking, those people are even fighting for them, actually, for that matter.
It's true.
It's all about that.
Very true.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I think on that note, it's so wonderful to see this film come finally see the light of day. I think we've all been waiting and highly anticipating this. And I know it's a very special film because it talks about a very, very, very celebrated hero of our country, and it also shows a very different variation to Sidharth's caliber as well as an actor. And I think it's only going to be wonderful to watch on Amazon Prime Video. And I think to have both the creative backbone of the film, to have Vishnu Varadhan and of course Sandeep Shrivastava, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you both on Filme Shilmy. So thank you so much for joining me, and
thank you so
wishing
much.
you all the very best for Shershaah.
Thank you so much, Anuj. Lovely talking to you too, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Take